Predictive models enable you to forecast events within some margin of error. And for specific types of predictive use cases, you'll be bound to specific algorithms and approaches. For example, linear regression for predicting values and logistic regression for classifying outcomes. In this video, we'll use a linear regression model to predict the goals for each player in the Four Nations Face-Off tournament. We'll then use the predicted goals to calculate goals per game for each nation and forecast who will win specific matchups. By the end of this video, you'll know how to create a predictive model and who could win the Four Nations Face-Off tournament. The process to build the linear regression model is fairly straightforward. We'll first source the data to build the model, for which we'll use 3 years of NHL statistics. We'll then conduct a correlation analysis to evaluate what hockey statistics most strongly correlate to goals. We'll then build the model using the strongest statistics, and then we'll apply the model to the Four Nations Face-Off player data, adjusting for the skills of the players and opposing goaltending. This will give us a forecasted estimate for each of the matchups in the tournament. When you explore the strength of the relationship among variables using a correlation analysis, you can test out many different variables. Through our analysis, we selected the following statistics from our dataset, which showed positive correlations to goals. Most of them also made sense. For example, you need to shoot to score, so higher shots on goal should result in goals. And more time spent on ice typically correlates to higher goals. You can't score when you're sitting on the bench. Here's a different view of the strength of the correlations ranked strongest to weakest. Shots on goal clearly shows the strongest correlation in our dataset. Now that we have a decent set of variables for the model, the next step is to create the linear regression model. We used a standard R library and approach to do this, which resulted in the following model. If this looks foreign to you, here's the summary. The variables are listed in the intercept column, and the strength of the variable in the model is represented by the presence and number of asterisks. 4 variables are very strong, and 2 are moderately strong. The level of significance is indicated by the p-values, which indicates the likelihood of obtaining a specific result in a statistical test. Note that the significance of each of the predictors is strong, and the overall R-squared value for the model is 89.9%. This is a good result. The result of the model is the ability to calculate the goals per game for each of the players participating in the Four Nations Face-Off tournament. Here's a sample of the players, their representative country with the predicted goals per game calculated from the model. However, you can't just take these numbers and apply them without adjustments. In our final calculations, we adjusted for the quality of player in the tournament, and we adjusted for the strength of the opposing goaltenders. You may want to adjust for more, but we wanted to keep things simple with some grounding in reality. You can see the results here, where we go from the predicted goals per game to the adjusted goals per game. We did this at the country level. The adjustment is a 25% adjustment based on the assumption that skilled players don't score as many goals against other skilled players. The final goals per game for each team will factor in the opposing goalie's save percentage. Here is the final result of us applying our model to each team. We don't vary the conditions of the statistical model. We simply apply our adjusted goals per game to each matchup. We've also assessed the appropriate points for each game based on the model-based outcome. And if we tally the results of the above into the final round-robin tournament results, we get the following ranking. So, using our model, USA is the clear winner, and it's a tight second between Canada and Finland.
Each week in our series, we've been giving you updates on our predictions, and I have to say we've been pretty damn bullish on Canada. However, now that we've built a predictive model, it's interesting to see the numbers show that the USA will win the round robin. This puts Canada on their heels for the final game. Now, Canada could still win this tournament, but it'll be a tough finish in the final game with the USA. Can they win? Maybe. But by all accounts, the USA may actually take this tournament.